My dear friend, beautiful Karena Virginia, thank you so much for joining me for this little special discussion about what it takes to bring forth this inner glow, this inner bliss.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for doing this. It's always so nice when you organize this and I just show up because I have no idea how to do this stuff.
Well, I love the tech, and I love that when we get together, we get to bring forth so much heart and soul in our workshops, in the retreats that we've been on together. And I'm so excited that we're going back
Yeah,
to 1440 Multiversity to do our workshop again, Inner Bliss for Outer Glow.
I am too. I am too. Very, very, very happy. It's a highlight of my year, actually. Being with you and who we attract into our group space and the healing that happens. It's been a highlight of my year, and I'm just so excited that it's coming up in May
I
again.
know. So I will put the link in the description for this video. We will be in Scotts Valley, California. That's not far from San Francisco, May 10th through the 15th. And what's interesting about this workshop is we will be blending Kundalini yoga with the principles of positive psychology and applied neuroscience. So it's like the best of all possible worlds. It's like psychology, neuroscience, spirituality, all the woo, all wrapped up in one.
Yes, and it is. It is. Yeah, it's quite magical to join forces with you and to um, bring this very etheric practice of Kundalini yoga to such a spiritual place, and to have you as a medical doctor and as an expert in a different form of meditation and neuroscience to help to ground this very mystical practice so that people can have the experiences and then come back to that grounding place through Mother Earth and through your gifts, and then watch, all the magic unfold in a way that's very present.
And that is what it is. I think the space, first and foremost, as you mentioned, there in the redwoods, you just get present. From the moment you step onto the campus and you see these majestic trees, you feel the energy. And as we've both sat down with one of the creators, the founders of 1440, Scott, as he shared with us, it's so intentional, every little detail. And so to be able to step into nature and step into the presence of a group who are like hearted and really committed to this path of spiritual unfolding and working in the body and the mind, it's a beautiful experience. And so in this 5 days, Karina and I will be welcoming you into an experience of going deep within to to find those sort of hidden treasures that you can bring forth. And if there's some healing that needs to take place, then we have so many modalities that we'll be sharing during this time together to get you there in a very safe space.
Yes, and I think that's key, is the very nurturing aspect of where we are and how meals are prepared, and there's no cleaning, no shopping to do. It's just showing up and feeling very held in the Mother Earth energy and the divine feminine energy, but also I think we create that together in the space, a very nurturing, motherly way to help people to heal and to reach their fullest potential and to be that shining light that we're all meant to be, especially at this time in the world, because the world is very chaotic right now. And there's something so magical that happens, as you know, with our neurotransmitters when we're together healing and when we're together rising above all of the craziness of what's happening on the lower planes of the earth.
It does feel like this is a very charged time in our Earth history, and I'm sure every generation has been able to say that. But here we are in this present moment, living that and feeling the need to really look for new solutions. Um,
Yeah.
And that has to start with us. We want to change society, our nations, this planet. And I feel like that really requires a certain level of personal mastery. And so for me, I am just like bringing everything that I've got to the table in my business, in my retreats, in my relationships, because I feel like it's no longer just a calling, it is an internal drive to be a part of this conscious evolution that's happening.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I do think that when we get really clear in that internal drive and we get really clear in understanding that we are part of this rebirth, we are like midwives ushering in a new way. And if we get clear on why things are happening in our lives to activate maybe our voices or activate maybe some inspired action or to really show up, then we see that our soul has been waiting for this time. And so many people are really confused in that right now. Why am I feeling all of these things? And why am I having two choices, one based on fear, one based on love? But really, there only needs to be one choice. And that always is the choice based on love. But bringing truth to light is love. And taking inspired action without it being a reaction, but with it coming from that entire alignment of our body, mind, and soul is love. And I think that being in a nurturing environment is really helping us to let go of patterns that are not serving our souls, that are not serving our loved ones, that are not serving us in this lifetime, so that we can elevate and we can be all that we are meant to be. I have talked to people this week who have both talked about wanting so much to bring something of themselves to their, both actually deep meditators too, wanting so much to bring something to the table right now. And both of them in chronic pain. And both of them, through just talking to them and asking questions and helping them understand what's going on, both of them waking up to the idea that maybe that chronic pain is happening because they are not showing up where their soul needs to show up. And both of them shared something very personal that they're thinking about bringing out more publicly and are petrified to do so. And I do believe that when we're called to do something, if we let fear stop us, our body will react. And sometimes putting it out on the table is actually more safe than holding it in, because our health depends on that.
Absolutely.
In order to put things on the table, we need a safe environment to really process, what is this? What is happening? And how can I contemplate before I even take any action? How can I contemplate in order to find clarity on what I'm experiencing so that I can ultimately heal? And when I heal, I bring service to the highest good of all of humanity, because that is what happens.
Yeah.
Especially for conscious people who are meditating and who are doing all the work. If there's stuff going on that's stuck in the body, it needs to be resolved. And sometimes that resolution takes more courage than we understand. And if we let fear win, we're just clogging all of those emotions and inspirations that are wanting to be released. We're clogging them energetically, and they're dormant in the body. And so there's no freedom.
Yeah.
This is a time where we have to be free. We have to be free to birth this new way of living. And in that, I also believe that we have to hold each other with deep compassion, because we're all seeing our own shadow sides. And we're all recognizing the parts of us that are being illuminated.
Yeah.
The parts that we maybe don't want the world to see. Those little parts of us that are, oh, I don't really like that, so I'll just kind of put it away. But the beauty is that when we start to talk about, in a very safe place, talk about these things, and we start to find even a sense of humor in them, like, wow, is it really that bad? Because honestly, even some of the most awful things that humanity has done in this time, if we bring the truth to these actions, the problem is when they're kept secret.
Yeah.
If we bring truth to these past actions that even others have done, or that we've enabled, right? That we've allowed in our silence. If we bring these patterns to the table and we work with compassion, there's always forgiveness.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because it's true that, for example, in this retreat, some of the writing exercises, when I first learned about one of the life writing exercises that we do during the retreat, the researchers, way back when James Pennebaker was doing this expressive writing stuff, they found that as people wrote about traumatic experiences or painful experiences, many times, just in the writing, not even sharing it, not publishing it, they got free. Their body and their pain disappeared. And that was kind of a weird thing to these researchers, because they were more on the psychology side. They're like, well, what is happening? And it turns out that the people who had the greatest health shifts were the people who were hiding secrets.
Yes.
There's something that happens to us when we keep secrets. Yes. We end up creating so much tension. And, if we look at this from Chinese medicine, like that energy that needs to be expressed, just as you said, dealt with compassion,
yes. And it's in the prana, the chi in Chinese medicine is the prana. So for people who are watching this, who understand the life force as prana or chi, yes, it gets congested.
Exactly. And then it will go within and it will erupt in some way, shape, or form, depending on the sensitivity of your body system. For some people, that might affect their lungs, like me with the asthma that I used to have, or people will get allergies or that chronic pain. And so one of the practices that we do with being in the safe space, I'm so glad that you keep bringing it up, because this is what everyone is calling for. And one of our mutual friends, Sister Dr. Jenna, is always talking about bringing that light, not to call people out just to be evil or snotty. It's like the only way we can have healing is if we bring the light, and shining that light on our own shadow and healing it and allowing that energy to be transmuted is going to bring us healing. And your body is a mirror. This body is just a mirror to the subconscious. So if there's stuff stuck in or stuffed into your subconscious that you're hiding, that stuff that's lingering in the shadow, it will manifest some way in body and mind. And so as Karena will be leading you through various very gentle practices in Kundalini yoga, you don't need to be a yogi to come to this retreat. It's for newbies and people who are experienced, but it gives you this safe ability to go within and start to bring forth in a safe place where we can process and heal and move on to that next level that our soul is really itching and yearning to get to.
Yes, yes. And I do want to be clear about that there were a few people the first time who were really thinking they were coming to do full-on yoga, right? And luckily 1440 offers yoga classes if people want that. But this is more of yoga in the way of yoking body, mind, and soul. There's a lot of meditation. There's always the opportunity to go hiking or to take any form of even Tai Chi or any other classes. And we do moderate yoga based on the Kundalini style, but a lot of it is more deep meditation. And There's going to be times for actually just restorative meditation, lots of resting, lots of processing. And also, I think it's important that we will to know we will be doing homework assignments where we will be writing, and there will possibly be resistance in some of these assignments because so much is coming to the surface, but nothing has to be shared. We want you to release it, but you can release it privately. And some people do choose in the very sacred space that we create in the circle to share publicly. And there have been some massive healing moments that we've experienced, right? But that's always a choice. There's nothing that needs to be done. And even if there's a reason why, we did have one woman and I'm sure she'd be fine without us using her name, talking about the absolute miracle that she experienced by allowing herself to not do everything, by allowing herself to actually say, this is so intense and there's so much movement taking place. The energy is moving so much that I just need to go and process in my room for a little while. And then we went and checked on her, right? And she ended up having probably the most miraculous experience ever. And that was a few years ago. And she's talking about coming back as well. But there's no right or wrong. We just want you to know that you're loved and you're in a safe place and you're being nurtured. And not just by us, but by this very sacred place, and by having food prepared for you, and by having kitchen staff that is so caring about making sure that you can eat the way that you need to eat, with any dietary restrictions, or if you want to go outside and you want to eat alone under a tree, or whatever it is that you need, so that you can really feel like you're on a retreat and you're creating a vacation for your highest good.
Yes. And if your highest good is not about healing, but it's about maybe taking yourself to the next level in your
Yes.
soul's evolution, then this is a beautiful place to do that as well.
Well, I'm so glad you said that too, because some people are really in a place of just wanting to up level,
Yeah.
right? And that's very important, because up leveling is scary.
Oh, yeah.
Going to that glass ceiling, and some people are already up leveling and are actually in a place where they're saying, what do I do? I'm losing certain friends, or I'm losing certain things that I'm used to, but I know I'm doing the right thing. Well, we're there to help you to truly up level, and to know that in order to truly walk through the door, sometimes windows do have to close, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there is a massive up leveling that's taking place on the planet right now, and that's a beautiful thing.
Well, I'm certainly feeling it. I'm experiencing it with the circles that I'm interacting with. And I do feel that every time I go to that next level in my spiritual evolution or in my business, it takes a little moment to like recalibrate. And I do encounter new people. Like there's just new people for me to connect with. And that's what Karena and I are offering to you. And one of the other cool things that will make this very grounded and practical, because yes, we will be going into the stratosphere of our spiritual delight, and yes, we will be going deep into the heart and soul. But we also want to make this very practical so that what you learn and experience on this retreat, you can then put into place in your everyday life going forward. And one of the cool things that Karena knows, we were together in New York last year, and just after celebrating your birthday and just before mine, I went away to Pennsylvania to do some brainwave training with a program that's called the Mind Mirror for neurofeedback, where you can literally get into these meditation states and see what your brain is doing. And the reason that's important is because we can train ourselves to get into these exact same expanded states of consciousness. So Karena will lead people through breathing exercises that, yes, they're going to move the energy in your body, but wouldn't it be cool to find out what it's doing in your brain? Because when you can see on a screen your brain waves and looking how you're going from busy beta into alpha and into theta and delta and maybe even into gamma, when you can see it and know what you did to get there, you can reproduce that at home. And so we're hoping to show you some different practices that you can start to implement in your own life, because as you up level, you are going to want to know how to channel energy, move energy, create protective energy barriers, come down out of stress to avoid burnout, and so on. So this is going to be practical as well as very mystical.
Yes, I
Right?
love that you said that. Yes, and I just feel so excited just talking to you. Andrea is in France, by the way, for those of you who think who's wondering what that weird car horn was outside. Like that's definitely a French car horn. But I feel so excited just having this time with you, because we teach each other too. For us, we leave there like, wow. And it's so gratifying to see what happens with all of us. And also that if you are feeling called to join us, there's a reason, because each year we've had, which is just such a miracle in itself, each year we've had students that after the first day we've realized are going through the exact same things. And we cater the entire course to what the energy is. So we don't necessarily, we have our curriculum, but there's so much in our curriculum that Andrea and I meet every day and we say, what are we going to do based on the energy of the group? So sometimes we're really focusing on up leveling. Another time we might be focusing on some form of healing. Sometimes it's both, but we've had people need to heal from grief, and a whole bunch in the group needed that. We've had people that were wanting to up level in businesses and start new things, and we found that a whole bunch of people were feeling that. And then you have meals together, and you have processing together, and you meet your brothers and your sisters, and you meet friends that you really have for life. That's what we've experienced, right? Like a community. And it happens by the miracle of the calling and then showing up, I believe.
100%. I totally agree. I think it's been so cool how these groups do form, and that we've stayed in contact with people who've come in the past years to this retreat. And I do find that there's quite a bit of magic. I think you attract that. I think we manifest that. But truly, if you are feeling called to spend some time with Karena and me in California, May 10th through the 15th, this inner bliss for outer glow is going to be phenomenal. We'll be adding in other little bells and whistles as we see fit. As Karena said, like, we are flexible. We're just flexible enough. Yes. Well, Karena travels with angels, so there's always a surprise when I meet up with her.
That's true. They come with me. Yep, they do. I know that to be true. Thank God.
Amen.
Thank God.
So I will put up the information for you to find out more about this 5-day retreat in California, May 10th through the 15th. And if you do feel called, then please join us. It's going to be a beautiful experience, as I know all of the past year's participants can say. And as I mentioned, we will be hooking up some people who want to, not everyone has to look at your brain waves. My new friend and colleague, Arne Heissel from Germany, is going to be joining us. He's out there in California now. So I have some help to really see what's going on inside of your brain as Karena and I lead you into these breath work and meditation exercises. It's really going to be profound.
You can use me first. Be the guinea pig. You guys can all say, whoa, what's going on in there?
I love it. I love it. Well, Karena, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to just share your heart and your presence with us. I know that it's going to be another blessing to just spend time with you.
I feel so happy just talking to you and sharing this, and thank you for putting this together and doing what you always do so well. Just you being you. It's a real gift to have you in my life, my dear.
It's a joy.
And it's for everybody. You are a true gem.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing you in California this spring.
Satnam, Satnam,
Namaste.
Namaste, blessing, hugs and kisses.
Much love.
Much love.
What I love is that Karena brings the angels.
And what I love is that Andrea brings the nerdy neuroscience.
But the beauty of it is you get to be with two people who are truly grounded in their own healing journey.
Yes, and you'll see our vulnerability and our true authentic side, and hopefully that will inspire you to really be able to work through whatever it is that you need to work through, even if it's a shadow, to find your fullest authentic self and to dive into that potential for being everything that you are meant to be, to shine on in this world, because we need you to do that.
Yes, the world is calling for you to step up and shine. So join us for Inner Bliss for Outer Glow at 1440 Multiversity, May 10th through the 15th.
So excited.